Happy New Year to everyone. It is 2025 finally. As for me, I couldn't conceive what 25 was. I couldn't make it out. When I was, 12 years old, I didn't know what in the world was a 2025. Nonetheless, we are here. I know some of you probably are saying, why is she sitting here with these glasses on? Child, let me tell you. We have updates for the new year already. It ain't even been here, a good 24 hours yet. So I don't even know where to start. So last night, I did attend watch night service. That is something that I have been doing for a very long time, and I try to stick to the recipe, especially when it comes to holidays and things I've always done. Those one of the things that just seems to work for me. And so I attended service on yesterday, and I was grateful that I did. I was grateful that I was able to make it. My children were there as well. Other, friends, family, church family. So I was glad to be in the house. I know that for me, dates are important. But I try not to spend so much time on certain dates and what can happen. Some of us are just really easily triggered. And I know that January 2nd of 2024 is when I lost my grandmother. So I just want to talk to you. I felt like this was the perfect opportunity to just jump right in and just be very transparent. I've always been that, and I felt like what better way to start off the new year than to be transparent with you all. So I come from a family of individuals who suffer with mental illness, right? One of them being my mom, who I love dearly, but we just got to be really honest about what's happening. So for the past few days, I have been seeing my mother have a mental breakdown. I know what it starts to look like when she starts to decompensate, when she starts to kind of do things that other people may not understand. And it may even look normal to some people, but it doesn't look normal to me because whether you know it or not, I was a caregiver to my mother at a very young age, maybe about 6 or 7. And shout out to those of you who are daughters and sons raising your parents, and you've been raising your parents before you even had your own children. You were raising your parents before you became an adult. So I'm watching my mom go through these stages, right? And I've watched her go through these stages of life for a very long time. It had gotten better. So she would only have these breakdowns when major events would happen. A birth date of a loved one that had transitioned, the anniversary of a loved one that had transitioned. It just depends. A traumatic event that has taken place. Many of us deal with it differently. I am just grateful that I am a daughter that knows how to see a need and fix a need, because mental illness is something that you just cannot play around with. And I think if you see people who are around you doing things that just don't make sense, seek help, talk to them about it. Don't try to self-diagnose them, especially if you're not a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a therapist, and mental health is not your thing. Don't try to do that. Get them some help immediately. So understanding that we are coming up on, first of all, we're going into a new year. My mother is going into a new year without her husband. My father passed in 2024. 6 months after that, my grandmother transitioned, which is June 2nd of 2024. I knew that, I'm sorry, not June 2nd, 2024, January 2nd, 2024. I knew that the day was coming. So this morning, I was just having a conversation. I was talking to my husband, and I was talking to him about how I find myself having to explain to family members how to handle my mother when I'm not around. Because when they see her like that, they start to panic. And I'm like, listen, you don't have to panic. These are the things you look out for. Make sure you watch her. If she up, you up. When she move, you move. She go out the door, you go out the door. These are just things I want people to know. And I kind of got a little frustrated about how have it been so many years that I've dealt with this and other people don't know how to deal with it? And I said to myself, it is because you were in that moment, and it is because you were present with her. You wasn't just dropping in and dropping out. You wasn't afraid of what you saw. You dealt with it. And that is the thing that made you stronger. That is the thing that built me and my mother's bond and relationship, because I was there with her in some of her most vulnerable moments and some of her worst times. And so I've always protected my mother. So I'm just, I spent this morning just trying to explain to family, hey, don't panic. You don't even need to call me so much. This is how you deal with this. But then I understood, and I said to myself, it's not even for them to understand. You've had years of experience. You have had years of training. If you're just coming in, please say something in the chat. Happy New Year to you. I've already jumped in. I'm learning. That when I go live, I just got to jump right in. It's a tip that I've gotten from one of my friends who have millions of followers. And he's like, you got to be consistent with this. And when you go on, you just go on. You don't have time to wait for anybody. So please be sure to go back and watch the playback, rewind it, whatever's most comfortable for you. However, we're talking about grief, mental illness, being present, and how 2025 has already started off acting a fool. So just again, spending time just explaining to family members, when you see her like this is how you deal with it. So I was specifically talking about my uncle, and I have 4. One passed, so I have 3 left. And I thought about something. I said, this is what I miss about my father. And again, this is why I have the shades on, because listen, I'm having a vulnerable moment that I'm sharing with YouTube and eventually with the world, because it's what I do. What better way to bring in the new year by being honest and telling the truth, because that's the only thing I have. So I was telling my husband, I said, and I called my father James. I said, I called my father by his first name. And I said, the one thing James would do when she would start having episodes, he would call me and he would say, daughter, she going off again. Daughter, she doing that thing again. Daughter, what should I do? Although that was his wife, he knew that I was the expert. He trusted every decision that I would make. He trusted that I knew what to do. And so I picked up my phone and I said, let me go and see if I can find an old voice note or old voicemail that James left me, basically, complaining, saying, kid, she going off again. You need to come and get her. And so I opened up my phone. I didn't see a message from him just yet, because I didn't get the opportunity to look through all of the old messages I had. But I saw a voicemail from my grandmother that I realized had not been opened. So I'm still talking and I'm kind of laughing and I'm kind of in like this real giddy state, because I'm thinking about my loved ones. I'm thinking about, it's a happy moment. I'm just thinking about how they left me, how I was prepared for them to go, how they was prepared to go. And so I'm just kind of smiling. I'm like, boy, I tell you, James was a trip. I really miss him. I miss his phone calls. What would I give to hear him calling me 4 and 5 in the morning saying, my mother's up, throwing stuff. I don't know. And I saw a voice note from my grandmother. And I do have a clip that I can share if it allows me to. I just gotta, navigate through StreamYard. But I saw a voice note from my grandmother, and I clicked on the voice note, and all I heard was my grandmother's voice. And my grandmother has always had such a soothing, sweet voice. And I heard her say, hi, Kia. And I was like, oh, my grandmother left me a note. I didn't. And she leaves messages all the time, but I didn't hear this one. And before I knew it, I was laying back on the bed, but before I knew it, I had dropped the phone in my chest and my hands was over my face, and I just bawled and I was crying, because it was her voice that I miss hearing in real time like that, in live time like that. And though it came at an unexpected time, I realized that that was what I needed. And I also realized that even in this new year, your grandmother is still with you. She's still praying for you. My grandmother is aware of what tomorrow is, right? Even in death, she knows she died January 2nd. But she's also sending signs to me to say, granddaughter, I got you. It's going to be okay. And I felt like that was her way of showing up for me. Someone asked me, about 2025, and I'll be honest with you, I don't make a lot of resolutions. I know the things that I want to see, and I know the places that I want to be. I know that I want to be better than what I was before. What I did say is, I don't know how my 25 is going to start, but I know that I don't want my 25 to end like my 24 ended. 24 literally tried to kill me. It tried to kill me emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, professionally. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand why it was going on. I was still, for me, I felt like I was still doing good. I was still showing up for people. It was rough. And from what I hear, 2024 was rough for a lot of people. I was one of them. So when 25 was rolling around, I was given, wait a minute, niece, before I get excited about you coming, I need to see you first. I need to see what you have before I just say I'm going to do all these great things. Now, I believe that because I'm a woman of God, great things are going to come my way anyway, whether I speak it or not. Because sometimes, how many of you know you can get to a place where you don't even have a voice to speak? You don't even know what prayer to pray. You're out of words because you're also feeling like, with the prayers I've been praying, God isn't hearing. So maybe I should just say, God, let your will be done. Maybe let me just pray that prayer. So when 25 rolled around, I was excited to be a part of it, but I wasn't sure if I needed to be excited that 25 had shown up, because I don't know. Because I just don't know. And 25 is like a fickle friend. I'm not about to put all of that trust in you and you come in here and show your behind. So I just didn't do that. So in all that, I'm saying mental health is important. Get your mental health checked. Pay attention to the people who are around you and make sure you are talking to them about mental health. Many of us come from families where there is a line of mental health issues and you ignore it. You don't discuss it at the table. You don't talk about it. You don't prepare your children for it. You just don't. So when something happens and it blows up really big, everybody's standing around saying, I didn't know that this was going on. I didn't know that I was a part of a family like this. And it is okay. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. I also mentioned a couple of times, I think I made a short about this where I said, make sure that you are showing up for your strong friend. I'm the strong friend. I'll always be the strong friend. And how I see it, if you know I'm the strong friend and you call me friend, nobody should have to tell you to show up for me. Right. So even in this morning, when I had that moment and I kind of broke down with the whole thing with grandma and all of that stuff, I've reached out to friends because what I also understand in my maturity, that people can't read your mind. I have a prophetic gift. Not everybody around me has a prophetic gift. So some people don't even know that you are going through. So we can't get upset with people because they don't know where we are mentally, where we are spiritually. So if you need something, you, my friend, should reach out. And so my way of reaching out to people was just to send them, the voice note. And they knew in that instant exactly where I was. They didn't need to call. It was, they just encouraged me from there. Confirming to me what I had already known. So if you are the strong friend, God will send you people who you don't got to tell, reach out to me. They're going to reach out because you are their person and they are yours. You just, that is what I do know I'm not doing in 25. Like, I'm not going to wait for anybody to reach out to me. But what I will do is make a mental note and I will keep the score, right? So I will keep the score that I was going through in this moment, and the person that I knew was a friend to me just didn't reach out. Again, sometimes you don't got to hold that to a person, but the people who are for you, you don't have to tell them to reach out. They will reach out, and they will reach out until they get you. I just believe that wholeheartedly. And so just remember that. So, I think that it was important for me to just jump on. Again, this video is called 2025 Day One Updates from My View. So you see how 25 kind of came in and said, let me just give you a snip. And you know what? Let me fix that. Let me see my glass half full. maybe it wasn't a bad thing that I heard grandma's voice, because it was a good feeling. And the cry that I gave was a cry that I had not been able to give since her passing. So grieving properly is important, because you're able to move through life. I don't ever want to move away from my grandmother, but I want to be able to move through life while grieving her, while grieving my dad, while grieving my uncle. And I've been in a season of grief, and that is okay, right? Um, I provide grief support to people. I provide grief therapy to other people. And so I have to know what that looks like, what that feels like, and how to help somebody else come through. So again, 25, I see you. Um, I don't know what you're giving, but I'm hoping that you come in, shower us with gifts, all kind of gifts, the gifts that are good for us, and be quiet. Because many of us can't take one more thing happening. I'm telling you. Because last year, we were one step from jumping, one step from falling, one step from pushing. We were one step away, one decision away. And I ain't specifically talking about, the S word, suicide. I'm not specifically talking. Some of us were really saying, tomorrow will be the day that I will be resigning from this friendship, this relationship, this job, this organization, this administration. Many of us were one day away from it. So let me try to insert this clip. I hope that it plays, but I want you all to take a look at it. Let me see if I can do this. Represent screen share. Share.
Hello, Kim. I'm calling to talk with my little angel, but I see you're not home. So I'll call tomorrow sometime just to talk with her a little bit. Okay? Love you all. Bye. Hello, Kim. I'm calling to talk with my little angel, but I see you're not home. So I'll call tomorrow sometime just to talk with her a little bit. Okay? Love you all. Bye.
I don't know if I was able to share that. Let me see. Maybe I might have to go through my emails. I don't know if I was able to share that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a video to YouTube after this out, because I made the video on CapCut, but I don't understand why it's not playing. Let me see if the video came through. It's okay. I'll pop the video in, or I'll try to edit this with the video included. So we'll see. But nonetheless, I just wanted to get in here and just speak to you about how my day started. Um, but I am hopeful. I am hopeful that 25 will be a year of redemption for me, um, a year of progress. I feel like 24 was a year process. Um, Maybe 25 will be a year of progress. I don't know. I'm uncertain right now, and I could very well be uncertain right now because of the grief. I don't know, um, but I'll be taking very good care um, of myself. That is important. To make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You're talking to therapists. You're talking to psychiatrists and psychologists and mental health professionals. And if they're providing you with medication, you're taking the medication, because the only thing I want for 25 is happiness, softness, calmness, stillness, richness, wealth, peace, serenity. Um, and when I say wealth, I'm not just talking about money. Money is good. I do need some money, but I need all of the other things to go with the money. So we'll see. Again, we're talking about consistency. That is the gift I want to give to myself. Um, consistency with the things that I want, learning to cut the camera on, turn the camera on, whatever's going on, give a life update. If life updates is what you're going to do, if sharing your honest moments is what you're going to do, I need to be able to do that. I may not come to you in the morning, but I definitely have the ability and the capability to come to you at night. But that is a decision that I have to make, and that is a decision that I have made. So I'm expecting more from me. I'm expecting to give more. I'm expecting to do more. I'm expecting to um, market my businesses properly, realizing that I have not wasted my money on starting the businesses, and you don't start the business to stop it. So if you want to see progress, if you want to see your increase, then you have to be consistent. And so that is my challenge for myself, to be consistent. So before I start giving anybody else instructions, I'm going to start with me first. And my instructions with me: be consistent with yourself, right? Show up for yourself. Refill the cup that you pour from, because I'm always pouring. And so I've always wanted to see myself in a big way, on a big screen. I've seen it, other people have seen it. I don't know when that's going to be and how long that's going to take, but I got to show up for myself. Again, happy new year to you. Hey Jazz, the thing about YouTube is people can be watching and it'll never tell me that somebody's watching, but definitely go back and watch from the beginning. I tried to pop a clip in that I made today, and I don't think it showed. I don't know, but I'm gonna try to, once I edit the video and clip it, I'll try to insert it. But with that being said, you all have um, a great evening to our day 1 of 25. Be safe, whatever you do. If you're out, don't drink. If you're drinking, call an Uber, call a taxi, call a friend. I don't want to plan any of your funerals no time soon. Be mature about your decisions this year. Take it easy on yourself this year. If you feel like you need to sleep a couple minutes over, do that. If you feel like you need to add some additional things to your daily regimen, do that. But whatever you do, make sure you are doing it for you. With that being said, peace, and I'm out.